Hello everyone, today we will talk about the transit of Neptune. Transiting Neptune is in sextile with natal Mercury. How transiting Neptune will behave in a sextile with natal Mercury depends on the position of natal Mercury. This transit may be more prominent in your life if you already have planets in aspect to your natal Mercury. But the basics are as follows. Although this transit does not have a strong effect, it will provide you with an opportunity for compassionate understanding in communicating with others. At that time, it is also more noticeable that you are able to give the benefit of the doubt and be less impulsive than usual. But although explanations and descriptions may seem insufficient to capture the sublime impressions and excitement you feel, you'll enjoy the thrill of trying to do it. Interactions with others are often more open than usual and you seem less concerned about being right. This period can increase your appreciation for the ambiguity and lack of precision that exists despite your best efforts to make the world different. Even if your daily life involves a rigid schedule or demands that the routine is packed with demanding work, you tend to see it all in a larger context, which eventually alleviates any stress. Since your intuition is extremely developed, you now have a great ability to process information. You understand abstract ideas and can interpret the subtler forces around you, and you are likely to discover your physical abilities and subtle connections that are otherwise hidden from you because your intellect is unusually sensitive. With Mercury thus supported, you have the opportunity to study a metaphysical or spiritual topic, and to discuss these matters openly even with those with whom you normally do not feel comfortable or with whom you do not have a good relationship. Even if you are normally very understanding and tolerant of the weaknesses of others, you are now able to achieve better harmony with them, to be less resistant and defensive, even when they disagree with you or behave in an unpleasant way. If you are normally a creative person, such as an artist or writer, and have a large amount of material for projects, collaborations, and discussions. Even if you are not normally creative, you will be more inspired than usual to let your imagination run wild and be moved by what is inspirational, spiritual, or poetic. Generally speaking about this transit, it is noticeable that you are more willing to give up a certain approach or method and therefore create an appropriate environment for yourself to receive answers, instead of forcing them. Especially with complex problems, you're more likely to solve them now if you can let go of your stake in any outcome. Mentally, you are often more flexible in your views and it is now less important for you to hold on to your opinions, which allows you to learn more material than usual. As we have already stated, your communication with other people is more sensitive and compassionate and you will certainly be a very good listener. Likewise, seeing the other person's dilemma with great clarity and being more sympathetic to their situation will be normal for you in that period. Because you will discover strange and fascinating connections between seemingly unrelated ideas, and your proposed solutions will also be imbued with worldly influence. It is precisely for this reason that you will overcome obstacles with others. When Neptune makes such a subtle transit to Mercury, you are able to speak and write with more emotion and feeling. Your imagination is so active that it shows how capable it is of finding illustrative words and images to express your thoughts. But while you may encounter new interests now, you tend to see a greater richness in what you know and appreciate the nuances of what you know, regardless of the wide range of learning opportunities you are presented with, as the transit itself will offer more than you noticed before. So experience your mind without having to censor its musings and wanderings that can bring inspiration. Although there are many mysterious things to discuss and explore, you are more intrigued by questions and curiosities than trying to find answers. Spiritual philosophies and disciplines where you see a higher form of truth will lift you above the framework and limitations of religious dogma, so you inspire others by showing them a higher way of looking at the material world. You express all this with more truth in your writing and speaking, so for example, you have the ability to write a fascinating book on a subject that is otherwise too dry to be interesting to most people. Your creativity and imagination, which are now enhanced, will give others the opportunity to communicate things in a way that stimulates their imagination, and consultations and receiving advice are of personal interest. The cooperation of such compatible planets will free you from the pressure of repetitive or negative thoughts, and your imagination will be able to create more attractive and soothing images. You simply have at your disposal the ability to mentally withdraw from all the pressures that surround you. Flights of fantasy will feed you, and this kind of means to calm your nerves is very effective.